Hey everyone, this is Felicia. Sorry I haven't been around for a while. I've had to kind of reconfigure the juggling between school, work, and life because I try to get on autopilot as much as possible with all this stuff going on. But it's a holiday weekend. I got all my homework done. So I am doing a little talk. I've got some cards out here from a few different decks, and I have been led to talk about the importance of self-love. I know that sounds pretty common. Oh, everybody talks about how you have to love yourself. But there's actually a trick to changing your life and attracting what you really want in your life related to your self-love. I'll be the first to say that I didn't get it for a long time, because basically you're the mirror to your life, whether you realize it or not. However you feel about yourself, those are the kind of people, that's the kind of stuff you attract to your life, your relationships. If your relationships are toxic and full of drama, then there's a level of self-worth that's missing. And that love affair literally does have to come, that initial one has to come from you in order to attract all that good stuff that you really want to have in your life. It's a strange trick about how the universe works, this law of attraction. It all falls back to you. You have to take responsibility for the self-worth, the level of self-worth, the lack of it that you have based on the people that you decide to get to interact with. And I'm not trying to say this without compassion to people who have had bad relationships and bad experiences. We've all had them, but you do have to, unless you want to repeat a situation, you really do have to sit back and say, what is it about how I feel about myself or how I treat myself that led me to decide to move forward with this individual or that situation. And so I've got some really beautiful cards here that I'm going to talk about. And since it's a long holiday weekend, that means that there should be some time for some self-care. Self-care is really important. It's more than going to get the mani-pedi or that sort of thing. It really is work. And some of that work is also, I know some of you have seen me talk about shadow work. Some of that work is the shadow work, which I'll talk about more in another video, but it's about looking at yourself honestly, but with compassion. So the first card that came out was this card here, which says, drink deeply. This is an oracle card, but when you're talking about cards, tarot, oracle, so water cups are always emotion. So it's about having the bravery to have that emotion. Really, really take time to love yourself unconditionally. On the back of the deck of this deck was radiate self-compassion. That's a part of your self-love. It does take, I don't care what anyone says, most people aren't brave enough to show love. They're not brave enough to show love to other people, and that's because they're not brave enough to show love to themselves. And it really does take looking at yourself squarely, honestly, all the beautiful stuff and all the stuff where you need to grow, the stuff that you don't want to show. The reasons why you might wear masks when you're interacting with other people. It takes that compassion to say, okay, this isn't the best of me. What can I do to make it better? How can I patiently and lovingly work on myself to make those changes that I need to make so that it will reflect on the rest of my life? And I can be happier and start radiating that happiness and love that will come back to me. The second deck, this card, nature, came out. Nature is important because I know some people don't like to spend time in nature, Go for a walk in your neighborhood. Walk around the block. Go to the park nearby. Go for a walk. Nature really is healing. It is therapy. It's cheap therapy. You don't have to talk to the animals like I do. And yeah, I do talk to the animals. But you don't have to do that. Just go for a walk. Go for a walk. Go for a walk and try to, if you're going to take music, make it some music, make it some meditation music. Make it some music that's not going to have lyrics that will distract you. Walking can actually be a form of meditation, and this is a healing journey for you. So really be brave enough to do something if you've never done it before. Be brave enough to try it in a way where you're not playing music that's going to completely distract you or trigger you or get you on some sort of vibe that doesn't help you leave what you need to leave behind so you can get a little closer to your happiness. On the bottom of this deck was pause. So this goes right along with the nature thing. Take time, pause, take time to, spend a little time in some nature. You can walk, you can sit, but just give yourself, start with 10 minutes, start with 15 minutes. If you live where I live, go by the lake. One of the things I did during lockdown, when I didn't want to be around anyone, I drove to the lakefront. There were all sorts of people there acting crazy and whatnot, but I was in my car with my meditation music, facing the lake, and it was one of the best things I did to get through lockdown, when we had lockdown a few years back. Okay, so on my next deck, which is a tarot deck, the Psychic Tarot, 2 cards came out. Transformation and Triumph. Both came out. I think, the key is, if you're brave enough and willing enough to take a chance to work on yourself, to drink deeply, to spend some time in nature, to be compassionate with yourself, to do some of these things that you've not been brave enough to do before, you're going to transform. And you're going to be triumphant. You're going to see the triumphant result of all of this with the changes in your life. You probably you'll probably lose some people that probably need to be lost, frankly. And sometimes when you're used to people can become habits, just like bad habits that you need to break. But if you're willing to release those people who don't need to be in your life anymore, guess what? This was at the bottom of the deck, harmony. You start to see more harmony in your life. You start to attract the kind of people you really want to be in your life with you, who see you for who you are, value you for who you are, love you for who you are, without you trying to figure out how to make other people happy who don't want to get you anyway. And then finally, I have this messages from ancestors. And the card that popped out was Storyteller. You can change your story. Be willing and be brave enough to change that story to a story that really fits you, who you are, who you know you are, that other people probably don't know who you are, that will be a much happier you. And you'll be very surprised at the soul tribe you'll attract once you're willing to go down that path, to be who you are, all the quirks, all the whatever weirdness, strangeness, whatever that is that you're afraid people won't like. Screw them. I guarantee you, if you're willing to be brave enough to be who you are, the right people come to you every time. And then on the bottom of the deck was Peacekeeper. You'll definitely bring peace to your life if you're willing to change your story and do all these other things to bring some more self-love to yourself, some honest self-love. It's not enough to go look in the mirror and say, oh, I like this outfit, I like how I look today, or some of these other things that are connected to the ego. You really want to talk about who you are. And then once again, I've talked about this before with people, about really connecting to your inner child. You want to connect to your inner child. Take a picture of yourself when your life was most difficult when you were a kid, and spend some time with it. Keep it with you. Think about that stuff that you don't like to think about. Work through it, and I guarantee you'll be happy and you'll be grateful that you did. Thanks for listening to me. If you like my talks, please click like, please subscribe. I promise I'm going to be on more often now, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.